Hey y'all, Payne here. Hey, listen, I'm doing another live, but this time, it's about Stephen A. Smith. I mean, this may cut across politics and sports, but the reason why I'm talking about Stephen A. is because we know he's a sports figure with political aspirations. And I got a major bone to pick with him because he flip-flopped and two-faced it. I voted for Kamala, and then he spent all his time talking about why he's mad that he did. And sometimes he sounds like a conservative, sometimes he sounds like a liberal. And in this take with Elon Musk, you could tell he's placating to his masters on trying to say that Elon somehow is usurping the presidency. And it's just bullshit, man. It's absolute fucking bullshit. I mean, especially as men, okay? I don't know how close Elon and Trump are, but as men, Trump is not intimidated by having another alpha guy in his employ doing what he's doing. And by no means because Elon is doing Doge takes away anything from the president. He's like, if I'm the president and I had a guy like him, just like I had my cabinet, those guys are doing my bidding. Matter of fact, he's a personal employee with Doge, an organization that is being funded by the executive branch. So he works for the president. So we're going to listen to Stephen A. try to paint some kind of narrative like the regular mainstream or legacy media somehow calling Elon like the president, and he's taking away some of the shine from uh, Donald Trump just by his presence. That is such bullshit. That's not how men operate. It's to say that, hey, listen, if I'm in charge, that means every other man got to be down, bending to me like they're sucking my Johnson somehow in order for me to maintain superiority. That's not how alpha men fucking work. The ones who have their heads on straight. I know I worked for a whole lifetime, and I filled my support staff with guys who were as smart or smarter than me, so I can get shit done because I focused on what the plan was and not whether who was the man. I was easy enough for me to give all the accolades to the guys in my employ who work for me so they could do the best job, not for me, but for the job. And that's what president. And so, Stephen A., you have presidential aspirations, but I think you're a plant. And I think if you got in there, we'd go right back to gender affirming care, LGBTYN bullshit. We'll be those will go away, and you would be right back having sex change operations for Indonesians 100 miles, 1,000 miles away, and all that bullshit, man. For me, you will never get my fucking vote just for this goddamn live right now, because I think you're tipping your hand by your take on this. Well, we're gonna go ahead and play it, and you guys can make up your own mind. But I heard enough of it. I didn't hear the whole thing. Maybe he redeems himself at the end, but for the first part of this, I'm so turned out. I mean, don't even think about trying to run for president, man. Don't even think about it. Anyway, so here we go. Listen to this horse shit from Stephen A. Smith.
Show. I want to get back to Washington and the telling image we saw from the White House earlier this week. Did y'all see that press conference that Elon Musk held in the Oval Office with his son on hand, no doubt, and with President Trump sitting at the Resolute desk? Many questioned Musk and his influence on the White House, especially after seeing this. In fact, 14 states sued Elon Musk and President Trump yesterday, arguing the authority the White House has granted the tech billionaire in his advisory Department of Government Efficiency is unconstitutional. The suit, filed by Democratic attorneys general from states like Arizona, Michigan, and Rhode Island, takes aim at the scope and scale of Musk's power. They note that the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE rather, as it's called, has led the Trump administration's efforts to dramatically reduce the size of the federal workforce, dismantle entire agencies, and access sensitive data. Meanwhile, thousands of federal probationary workers have been fired the last 2 days. Probationary workers are easier to fire because they lack the bargaining rights of career employees to appeal their terminations. Which brings me back to the image of Musk standing next to Trump in the Oval Office. Check out what Lawrence O'Donnell of MSNBC had to say about Elon Musk standing over Trump. I delivered a quote, picture of presidential subservience, the likes of which we have never seen, the most powerless image of a president of the United States ever created by a camera. Former Vice President Mike Pence never had a day like that in the Oval Office with Donald Trump. Vice President J.D. Vance will never have a day like that in the Oval Office with Donald Trump because Donald Trump is the boss of J.D. Vance. We have no idea how dependent Donald Trump is on Elon Musk. There will probably never be a way of knowing, end quote.
All right. So let me just stop the bullshit right there. A couple of things that Stephen A. said. Now, first of all, we all know that Lawrence O'Donnell went to Mar-a-Lago to bend the knee to Donald Trump already. Okay. You can look at the picture and say 1,000 different things, right? So just because O'Donnell said this bullshit in this quote, that doesn't give it any more weight than it does only to the people who want to propel a narrative that ain't true. That really isn't true, right? Listen, Elon Musk in the office with his son, right, to me says that he has a casual relationship with the president, and the president is sitting behind the Resolute desk where the president sits. And he had, hey, Elon, you know what? He didn't offer him a chair. He said, don't sit down, just stand up and just talk to these guys impromptu of what I've asked you to do. And that's all that Elon did. All of this horse shit that you're talking about now is how you're trying to shape the perception of what's going on. You know, I didn't see it that way at all. I did not see, oh, I'm the man. This is guy working for me. No, that's my guy working for me. Tell him what I want you to tell him. Go ahead and tell him. And, you know, let's just do it casual. Just break down what's going on and what I have you doing with Doge. And that's what he did. And let's get back to all the constitutional, these issues where you're making this shit like a constitutional crisis. First of all, everything we see with the judges stopping anything that first of all, Elon Musk, he comes up with these suggestions and he can't implement anything without the approval of the president. So he might put something out, well, this is wasteful, get rid of these guys, get rid of these guys. But the president has to say yes. Everybody knows that. So when the judges say, listen, stop doing this, that's not a constitutional crisis. That's government at work. So President Trump is testing the boundaries of the executive branch, with every other president does. And the fact is, we're exposing the wishy-washy nature of our judicial branch at so many different levels. A federal judge over here, a federal judge over there, a disconnected federal judge over there, saying, listen, we want to put a halt to this because each one of those judges who want to put a halt or anything is trying to interpretate whether the law is being followed. And they have their own opinions, but they know they're not the last word. So we're going to see things go to the Supreme Court. And some of the things Trump is going to try to do will rightfully be halted at the highest levels. And some of the things already have been shown that he can do as the executive, which makes sense. So like the reduction in force, where he gave everybody the ability to get 8 months of pay, right, and then leave at the end of September. That shit was withheld. That shit was held up by the courts. That's actually going on. 75,000 people are going to leave because they signed it. They said they're going to resign at the end of September. They tried to stop that, and it went through. They overturned that. So they halted some of his money. They said, well, you got to continue to fund some of these other things. But they're not going to give money to Indonesia's sex changes. They might give money, you know, they're going to have some discretion to keep giving the money out to the things that they needed, right? For some AIDS research or from AIDS for this or that, medicines and stuff like that. But Donald Trump is not going to continue to fund sex change operations in Indonesia. He's not going to do that. They're going to fight that all the way up to the top of the Supreme Court. He's an executive. We're not spending any of our money to do that. And Stephen A. Smith coming out with this wishy-washy bullshit like Lawrence O'Donnell is the final say on how to couch what's going on with Elon and the president, as if his shit means something other than trying to keep perpetuating some bullshit. The government has been fleecing us as taxpayers for decades. And now we're starting to see behind the veil on what's really going on. And any Democrat or anybody who says they want the highest office and they can't talk about that first, besides talking about the relationship between Elon and the president, you ain't never getting my vote. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure nobody puts that guy in office just because he's black and he got a big ass mouth. Because I bet you he's going to try to run. Stay your ass at ESPN and let Malika Andrews continue to kick your ass on public airways.
Lawrence O'Donnell, you may have a point.
No, he doesn't.
But respectfully, how many people really care? Because you see, when you're in the presidency of the United States of America, people normally assume the billionaires have your ear anyway, that they're telling you how they feel, what they want, what they need you to do. And as a result, you capitulate to their desires, their wants, what they deem to be necessary, et cetera, et cetera. So it's not that big of a deal from an image perspective. Donald Trump is close to 80 years of age. He felt like sitting down instead of standing up. And yes, Elon Musk was in the Oval Office. Wasn't dressed appropriately. Most billionaires choose to dress the way that they want to dress. Had his son talking. His son actually interrupted the president when the president was talking. I get all of that. It's not the greatest look in the world, but it's not affecting anybody. Remember what Dave Chappelle did with his opening monologue years ago on Saturday Night Live? And he talked about how Donald Trump was going up against Hillary. And he said, if you don't like the amount of money I'm paying with my taxes, then change the tax code. But we know you won't, because my donors are the same as your donors. And then Dave Chappelle said, ladies and gentlemen, that is when a star was born. Never before, this is Dave Chappelle talking, not me. Never before have we seen a politician playing a game in that house, walk out of the house and tell you we are in that house doing everything you suspect we're doing in that house, and then went the hell back in the house and started playing the game all over again. Why do I bring that up? Because one could easily argue that that's exactly the imagery that Trump was giving you. Just like I have a billionaire or two or three that I might capitulate to, lean on, etc., get their advice, their counsel, or do their bidding, is what all of these politicians have been doing all of these years. I just wasn't afraid to show it to you on camera. So Lawrence O'Donnell is not, in all likelihood, is not wrong. In all likelihood, is pointing out and providing an accurate depiction of what we saw on camera. But in the end, what does it amount to?
Well, first of all, you're trying to redeem yourself, but I'm not letting you. It's not an accurate depiction. It's his depiction. It's his depiction, because I didn't get that at all, other than the fact that he got this guy working for him, and that guy has a team of people digging out the dirt. That's what we should be talking about. Is he digging out the dirt or not? all this, what it looks like, is just bullshit. Is he digging out the dirt? That's what I want to. I want to hear one of you guys say it. Maybe you're gonna say this before this 6 minute thing is over. But he finding shit that will save us taxpayers dollars. That's what I want to hear. Forget about all the how we feel about how it looks, even if it's right or if it's bad. I want to hear you say that I'd rather see somebody ferret out the bullshit and the emotional stuff. Let's put it to the side. That's what I want to hear you say, Stephen A.
Not a damn thing. Because Trump is unlike anything we've ever seen in the world of politics. You can accuse him of things. You can indict him on things. You can convict him on things. You can literally legally get away with calling him a convicted felon. And he still went out and got more than 77 million votes for the presidency of the United States of America. It's not going to work, Democrats. You're going to have to come up with a new plan. And it shouldn't be Stephen A. Smith for president.
Okay.
I better things to do with my life. I love talking politics. But me running for office, shaking hand, kissing babies, campaigning, begging donors and folks for money and begging politicians to do my bidding.
There you go, Stephen A. Okay. All right. I might watch this show again.
Won't never say anything's impossible, but I can't see it. I like my life.
Don't run. Don't run.
If you're the Democratic Party, you need a new voice. You need new voices. You need to make some noise, and you need to do it in effective and efficient fashion instead of whistling into the winds like you've been doing. Lawrence O'Donnell, respect that man. Highly knowledgeable, knows what he's talking about.
He's an idiot.
What he just said.
But he's an idiot.
It's just futile. Not enough people care.
Oh, there you go. That was good. All right. All right. So listen, did he redeem himself or not? Right? Okay. Hey, babe, when you gonna name your super chat button? Wanted to show you some support for your increased content delivery. Hey, listen, you know what? One of these days, it's funny. I have a Cash App. You know, I don't show that much. I ain't really caring about. But the super chat, I'm not monetized yet. I gotta get. Maybe I'm working on that this year. Listen, I hit Stephen A. hard, but he kind of redeemed himself. But I'm kind of glad I didn't watch that first, the whole thing. I just saw the first part where I thought he was going to go down the wrong path. But he still didn't say what I want to hear one of these Democrats say. He said he's an independent. I want to hear them say that no matter how you feel about Elon Musk, that he's ferreting out waste. And the next live I'm going to do, I might not do it today, but is the Doge hearings. I recommend anybody go take a look at the Doge hearings. Look them up on YouTube. It's fascinating. It's a lot of fascinating stuff there. So I might do it tomorrow. I might do it Monday. I don't know. But there's a lot of fascinating stuff. And they go through some of the atrocities that USAID was committing. Right. And then in the backdrop, they still have people trying to defend USAID for the few good things that they're doing with a heap of the horse shit that they were trying to get away with on top of that. I mean, I don't know why everybody's not livid. I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat or Republican. Everybody should be livid about what they were doing with our money and our taxes. Do you know if they could save or eliminate spending $2 trillion, what that would mean to our economy right away, even in this first year of Trump's administration? So I don't know, man. There was a reason why I named my channel Marriage, Politics, and Sports. So I'm glad I did that because I like to cover all this stuff. Like I have my sports show on Wednesdays. And then I go to BMU's channel and I go to Press's channel, and maybe I'll spend some more time on a regular basis doing lives like this. Be earlier in the day, especially for the political stuff. Sometimes I'm gonna be right, sometimes I'm gonna be wrong. I came down hard on Stephen A, but I'm glad that he sounds like he's gonna eliminate himself for president because he's too wishy-washy for me. Because I don't know where he stands. Sometimes he sounds like a Democrat. Sometimes you wish he was a Republican, and then he says he's an independent. But I think he knows where his bread is buttered, and has the biggest money and the biggest stick, that's the side he's going to be on. And I don't want to take that chance of us going backwards with anybody. I don't care what color they are. Anyway, so this wasn't going to be a long live. Hey, Curtis, thanks for showing up. Could tell you how you doing. And hey, listen, you know what? Now I see where some of these content creators like to do lives. They can rant and rave and shit, and just talk to the and just say what they really feel. But this political season is really, really exciting. I'm telling you. And again, the real thing I think everybody should take away is just because the judges put a halt to some of the plans that Trump has, there's always appeals, and it's not a constitutional crisis. That's exactly the way government should work, right? If the executives go out of bounds, the judicial says, wait a minute, you're trying to change certain interpretations of the Constitution. Let's take a look at that. Nobody should try to get political capital out of that, because that's how the government's supposed to work. And then he's going to win some and he's going to lose some. But the fact is, if he ferrets out fraud, waste, and abuse, then the result is what we're saying. Because none of those judges are going to make him continue a fraud or waste or abuse and win that case in an upper court. There's no way that's going to happen. So anyway, thanks for stopping by. I see what you say. RFK is about to fire 5,200 health agency workers. Well, it just tells you how bloated the government is, right? Like I said, I hate to hear anybody really losing their jobs. It's going to have some kind of impact on the economy. I work for the Department of Defense. And even when I was working, we had things called BRACs, Base Reduction Acts, where they close whole bases. And, and they laid off thousands of people. They closed whole areas of bases, and they either consolidated them with other bases. Some people had to move hundreds of miles away. Some people just lost their job. So that's kind of how the job market is. Engineers and scientists got a little bit more deference because we were making weapons of mass destruction and testing them and all that kind of stuff. So that's where the Defense Department's bread and butter lies. But if you're in logistics, or if you're in file clerk, or if you're in some of these lower professions where they could just contract a lot of that stuff out, you were more at risk, So it's like, therefore, the grace of God go on, right? But I remember all those sleepless nights in engineering school that gave me the ability to have that job. So, that's just the way the world is. You can't have survivor's remorse, but I do feel for the people getting laid off. But the people who took that buyout deal, you got 8 months to find another job with pay. Don't blow it, because those 8 months are going to come and go real fast, like that. All right, so. With that, hey, listen, thanks for stopping by again, both of you guys, Catellia, Curtis, and we'll see you again, because I'm going to probably start doing this. I'm going to try to kind of do it around 3 or 4 o'clock when I start going live, so it becomes somewhat predictable. Well, we'll see what happens. All right, take it easy. We'll see you again, God willing.